Yeah, thank you for joining us here tonight, for Engineering Futures, connecting youth to real world careers. Um, we're excited that you're here to learn more about YES Career Explorations. And these are resources that are built on the YES engineering units, to help connect the hands-on engineering of those units, to real world careers, through a number of interactive quizzes and stories and different experiences for students. So we're going to jump right in. I also have Marianne, I should say who I am. So let's go to that. All right. So my name is Carrie Baldwin. I'm a professional learning and outreach manager for Youth Engineering Solutions, or YES, which is based out of the Museum of Science in Boston. And I'm joined today with by Marianne Knowles, who is part of our curriculum team and is our STEM learning design manager. And she's going to be helping me out with some tech stuff and the chat and just kind of bringing questions to the surface. So. If you're comfortable doing so, I would love to just have you drop into the chat, if what brings you here today, and what do you hope to, what brought you to this webinar, and what do you hope to use, how do you hope to use what you learn? So we'll take just a minute or so and try to get a sense of what brings folks here. And welcome from Milford. So what brings you to a webinar about career explorations from YES? Thanks, Bob. Oh, they're all coming in now. Bob says, always looking for ways to connect science curriculum with college, career, and citizenship. Hopefully you all can see the chat here. We have an educator from New York City, is finding ways to connect, ways to get real life engineering in the classroom. There's a new STEM course at a school. We have Trudy, who has worked with EIE for many years and now in a new role, trying to bring it to the school system. Create more STEAM education. Perfect. Rhode Island youth. First year engineering teacher. Excellent. We're excited to have you here. Please feel free to keep putting this information in the chat. It's super helpful as we go along. Just to know sort of what brought folks here. What are you interested in? What do you hope to learn as well? All right. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in ahead. All right. All right, so our goals for tonight or today, depending on your time zone, participants will learn about the development of career explorations from the YES team, and we'll have a chance to explore the career explorations resources that help youth connect hands-on engineering to real-world careers that inspire STEM exploration. All right, so our agenda is basically just a quick introduction to YES. For those who are not familiar with us, going to talk a little bit about the background and how the career explorations were developed. We'll do a resources overview, and then we'll have time for questions, and we want to share contact information as well. So I encourage you to put questions in the chat. We'll definitely try to take a look at those as we go. We'll hopefully get to a lot of your questions in the presentation, but feel free to put questions in the chat. And Marianne and I will do the rest to catch them in there. And then we'll also definitely have a time where you can ask questions. You can raise your hand virtually, and we can take you off mute, and you can share verbally. All right. So first thing I want to share is the mission of Youth Engineering Solutions, which is, overall, it's to basically create the next generation of problem solvers through hands-on STEM learning. We want to make sure that we're empowering young learners through standards-aligned, accessible curricula. And our curricula is engineering, computer science, and STEM aligned. We're formally known as EIE, which was mentioned, or Engineering is Elementary. And we've been around for 3 decades. And we've been a leader in terms of research and in terms of STEM education, leadership in STEM education, leadership in the research of STEM education. So our curricula is used nationally by about 800,000 students and about 30,000 educators every year. And we're part of the Museum of Science in Boston, part of the curriculum division. And we're their pre-K to 8 engineering, computer science, and STEM curriculum. All right. So in terms of just our approach, we have really, we have a set of design principles that we try to put into all of our units and all of our resources. They really anchor our curricular materials. And so we want to have youth engaging in authentic engineering practices where they're designing, they're creating, they're persevering, they're testing, they're persevering some more. And that's going to really help build problem-solving habits, collaboration, and persistence. And it really helps youth see themselves as engineers and deepens their STEM identity. We have a lot of different resources from preschool. We have preschool resources and We Engineer. We have elementary resources. We have middle school resources, and we have YES Enrichment resources. And YES Enrichment really encompasses all that out of school time programming. So it could be after school programs, before school programs, vacation, summer camps, scouting, STEM clubs, pretty much anything sort of out of the regular school day. And we wanted to make sure that everybody had access. So all of our downloadable materials, all of our student-facing materials in terms of the curricula, all of that is in all of the videos and everything for our engineering units and for the career pieces is free. So and our website is, I'll show it up a bunch of times today, but it's yes.mos.org. And it's really important that we wanted to make sure that those resources are open source. All right, so in terms of the resources we have for the engineering units and across the board, there's educator guides that have teacher tips, have really detailed lesson plans. I'll talk more about those later. We have youth or student-facing slides the educators can use. We have low-cost materials kits to make sure that students can do the hands-on engineering. We have how-to videos. Those are for teachers and for students, really help with the setup of the activities and the testing. We have family resources like Letters Home, and we also have resources that can help scaffold language development. So we have vocabulary cards that are free for download. We also have materials glossaries and other things, other resources that can help with that piece. All right, so I'm going to see if I can do this. So I wanted to share a poll, first poll question, because we know, we want to shift into today's topic, which is, career education. So let me see if, hopefully this will cooperate with me. All right, so I'm going to share a quiz question here. I'll show you a screenshot in just a second for those joining us later. I'm going to launch this, so hopefully it'll pop up and you can take a look at the question and the possible answers and go ahead and bring in with your response. So when teaching about careers, what's your biggest challenge? Finding age-appropriate materials, showing real-world relevance, limited time in curriculum, keeping students engaged. Not sure where to start. I know that these are not all of the challenges. You can see where folks are putting that in. All right, we're at our 63% participating so far. So if you're able to ring in there, it looks like the challenges that are coming to the top right now are finding age-appropriate materials for career education, it's a tongue twister, real-world relevance as well, and certainly limited time in the curriculum. It's popping up a lot. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. Hopefully it'll share the results. So that should pop up that you can see it. So again, we kind of ended with those first three kind of showing up as the top things that are coming up for you in this group. And those are just some of the many, many, many challenges. We know that those do not encompass all of them. And then there's the questions for those joining us later. All right, so want to jump in to really just talking about the career explorations. So all of these challenges and others are really real. And so we want to dive into some of the resources that we have here at YES and how our career explorations can help with some of these challenges. We know that research shows that students start thinking about, form attitudes about the careers. that they eventually, as early as elementary school, and we know these attitudes about careers, they really can be predictive of the careers that students eventually pursue. So we know that the time is now for career exploration. So our career explorations are intentionally designed to address this need. They're for a way for students to start to explore some of those career possibilities. So in terms of background, the YES team met with educators and administrators, industry professionals, and they had focus groups with students, interviews with students, and surveys, and lots of classroom testing. And those were really fundamental. What happened in those spaces were really fundamental to helping people, helping our team develop the resources. Educators who were in those groups stressed the importance of integrating career explorations into the existing curricula because of limited instructional time. So that integration was key. They shared that finding affordable, easy to implement materials was a challenge. They also shared that having too many resources can also feel overwhelming. So it's really important to have a curated set of resources. And the employers that we talked to really emphasize the importance of students having durable skills. So especially in today's, today's evolving, we'll call it landscape of work, they really talked about the importance of youth needing strong, durable skills. And sometimes we call those soft skills or 21st century skills. Those are things like collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, perseverance. Some of our students from Fenway High School, which is a local high school, during their focus groups, they really talked about wanting choice and agency when they were doing exploration for careers. And they really wanted connections between what they do daily in school and in their lives and real world careers. They don't want to be pigeonholed into any particular job. They really want to see how their interests and their skills connect to career learning. And they really prefer hands-on approach. Hands-on approach instead of a sit and get. And, just from the research, we really recognized we needed to expand what we were looking at in terms of the diversity of those careers as well, and how we think about STEM careers. So we wanted to go beyond the field of just engineering and really highlight a diverse group of STEM and STEM adjacent career fields, because we know that, employers are viewing science and technology and math as not just titles, but also mindsets. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right, I'm going to take a quick look here. All right, perfect. Thank you for putting that in there. I see some more folks. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go on there. So I want to talk about, so the Museum of Science has a track record of developing engaging hands-on STEM curricula that help youth build their STEM knowledge, help them grapple with open-ended questions, and develop those durable skills. And they're learning so much as they're going through the engineering design process. And so we wanted to, in response to the stakeholders that we met with, we really wanted to think of ways to integrate the career explorations with our YES Middle School and our YES Upper Elementary enrichment units. And that integration helps students really see how their engineering experiences relate to these real world opportunities. And you can use STEM skills in really diverse professions. And the reason we went with enrichment to start with is really because that enrichment space of after school programs, scouting, STEM clubs, before school, after school, those are the places that tend to have the most flexibility in terms of time and what you're focusing on. So that's why right now the career explorations are paired with those enrichment spaces. Right now, students can explore in these career explorations, they can explore 6 different careers, and 5 of those careers are we'd probably consider STEM adjacent, or they're STEM, but they're not just the engineering roles. And we have currently, as of today, up on our website, we have the health careers exploration, and that is part of our engineering antivirals unit, which is a middle school unit. Middle school enrichment unit. We have our disaster recovery careers exploration, which pairs with our upper elementary rescue shuttles unit. And then coming soon, we'll have a reforestation careers exploration, and that will be paired with our soon to be released engineering parachutes unit for upper elementary. So we're really definitely excited about that. And we're really looking for additional funding so that we can continue to add on additional career explorations as we continue to release enrichment units, engineering units. We really want to make sure we have an expansive career exploration. All right. So in terms of where did, sort of what did we use to create these career explorations? During those focus groups and talking to folks, this name came up over and over again, this framework, the National Career Clusters Framework. And so that came up over and over again in high school programs and in different programs as being a really, really important, really effective framework for thinking about careers. And in it, it's a framework that exposes youth to careers across multiple sectors, and it really helps them see how sectors work together to solve complex societal challenges. So it's a shared structure and language for CTE, or career technical education programs across the US. And we align to this framework. So our YES career explorations align to this framework. Each of our highlighted careers falls within a career cluster. On their website, you can check out their framework. They have a wheel version, as you see here. They also have grid versions and interactive versions online that really kind of break things down. Big things to know are that it includes 6 cluster groupings, and those are broken down into 14 career clusters, and those 14 career clusters are broken down into 72 subclusters. And they just went through a big review of those, and I think this newest one was released within the past 2 years. So what I want to start with is we have these career-ready practices that they have at the middle of the framework, and they really represent the skills that industry and educational institutions feel are necessary in the workplace. And so they believe these 12 practices should be in kindergarten or preschool all the way up through the workforce and in each career cluster. And a number of these practices are really similar to the YES engineering practices that we have, and we try to put in all of our units. Things like communicating clearly, effectively, and with reason, thinking critically to make sense of problems and persevere in solving them, considering the environmental and social impacts of decisions, and applying academic and technical skills. So in our design principles for YES, for our practices, there's slightly different language, but a lot of similarities. We want to apply our computer science and math knowledge to problem solving. We want to make evidence-based decisions. We want students to persist and learn from failure. We want to work effectively in teams and communicate effectively. So you can see a lot of similarities there. So it just seems like a really natural fit to use the National Careers Clusters framework as we're embedding ours in there. In terms of the cluster groupings, there's 6 really big groupings. And these are just these 6 cluster groupings are purpose-driven. So they're these big sectors. They're aligned with students' interests, their sense of purpose, the impact they want to have on their communities. So we have building and moving, caring for communities, connecting and supporting success, creating and experiencing, cultivating resources, and investing in the future. So from there, we get into the career clusters. There's 14 career clusters, and those have really been used historically as a foundation for these CTE programs. And all of the career explorations that we have with YES, all of the careers that were chosen align to one of the so here's the modern career clusters from their framework. You can see there all listed. And when we take our careers, our career explorations, we can actually match them up. So we have, for instance, with our disaster recovery career explorations, we have a focus on a power plant operator. So that's one of the things that students can explore, and that's part of the career cluster, energy and natural resources. They can explore a real estate professional, which is part of the financial services career cluster, or they can look at aeronautical engineers, and they're part of advanced manufacturing. So this is something that's on our website, just kind of shows also the mapping between the career explorations from YES and the career cluster that they belong to. All right. So I want to just talk briefly about what all of the career explorations have in them, and then I'll dive into a little more detail. So career explorations, each one is designed to take about 45 minutes. They can be expanded if you have more time. Some providers who were doing our pilot testing really like pushed it out to several days because they were doing more research and poster presentations. But they are designed to be done in about 45 minutes. Um, and what's included in all of the career explorations is an activity guide, career activity guide for the educator, and I'll go into detail about what's in there. There's career exploration pages. There are optional slides for the educator to use. There's day in the life interactive stories, printable signs for stations, links to videos and articles. There's an optional group poster project, and there's also a family letter. So there's things that come with every single career exploration standard, and then we'll kind of dive into some of those specifics. Another thing that's a resource that's on our landing page for career explorations are some posters that we've had. And so there's 10 different, these are just focused on engineering roles, but that's another option, an optional resource as well. There's 10 different engineering roles that are on there on our landing page for the career explorations. And you can also find them if they relate directly to the career exploration. At hand, they are also, you can also find them embedded in the resources. All right. So I want to give you a little bit of context before we talk about the resources for this. So I wanted to give you, just wanted to transition, into the career exploration resources. And I want to use the engineering antivirals unit as an example. So I want to talk about how the engineering unit really pairs well with the career explorations. So the engineering antivirals unit is designed for middle school students, grade 6 to 8 in enrichment settings. So again, this after school programs, before school programs, vacation camps. They can also be done in school. We have plenty of educators that use the enrichment units in school. And in it, youth engineer a working model of an antiviral to stop a virus from attaching to a cell. And it includes slides and a comic book and the vocab cards and the educator guide. And the engineering part is 45-minute lessons. And then there's some optional lessons as well. And so what comes in this, the engineering part, students have a comic book. And in the comic book, Lucas and Corey are teammates on the volleyball team. They're all getting sick. So all of their teammates are getting sick and they're looking for ways to fight the virus. One of the scaffolding lessons, students explore and engineer a model virus that can attach to a model cell. It's a lot of fun. You can see there's an inflatable, the inflatable snow tube that ends up being the model cell, and they end up being able to toss these viruses onto it. We did it as a staff. It's a lot of fun. It's also really educational. There's also scaffolding lessons about students learning about how learn about antivirals that can stop specific viruses from entering a cell. And then they engineer a model antiviral. So they imagine, they plan, they create, they test, they improve a model antiviral. And then they improve for mutations. So the students learn about mutations and they improve their antiviral and its structures. So that's the engineering component of it. So there's 5 core activities for that, each about 45 minutes. And then there's these optional activities. You can see them listed here at the bottom. And so we're going to focus on one of those optional activities, which is the health careers exploration. All right. So when you go to the website and you select, again, this is on our website, and you select career explorations, you'll see the 3 that are up there now. You'll see, and then you can select the health careers option. And when you do that, you'll go to a page that looks like this, just a screenshot that'll allow you to download, gives you an overview and allows you to download the resources. So you can download the resources again. When you're downloading it, all of this is available for free. So when you go, you can see you'll have access to a Google Drive. And in that Google Drive, you'll have print materials, career links, an educator guide, and the health careers exploration slides. And then in the printed materials, there's a whole list of things that are in there. So there's the day in the life stories, there's the exploration pages, the family letter, information about there's a health careers poster, there's the optional make a poster activity. All of those things are in there. So all that you need to do is download the Google folder onto your laptop or onto your device, and then you can make changes to things as you wish. So you have access to that. So in terms of the activity, so the first thing is in terms of resources, you have access to the activity guide. It's also called an educator guide. And you'll see it says health careers exploration. And that has the objective of the activity, which is that youth will learn about careers related to developing antivirals in this case. And it has an activity outline. It says that preparation is about 20 minutes. And then it outlines that the introduction takes about 10 minutes, the exploration takes about 25 minutes, and the wrap up takes about 10 minutes. And it also includes educator tips. It includes, like I said, preparation directions and links to videos. There's sample questions and answers to ask a youth. And everything's laid out in there. So it's really like the lesson plan itself. In terms of the introduction, what students do is during the introduction, they look at slides of health careers. We have 6 health careers that they're focusing on. So we show students the slides of those health careers. There's a very short overview of each career. And then they watch a very short video or a snippet of a video for each of those 6 careers. And then they take a career quiz, and this is a short career quiz on health careers, and they answer questions about, they have 2 choices, what would they prefer, and they kind of take themselves independently through the career quiz, and then do a scavenger hunt. So all of that's kind of happening in the beginning. We'll talk more about that. So these are just some examples of those slides. So again, there's the slides that have an overview to start the activity with. It's about a biomedical engineer. There's information about a health data analyst, health journalists, medical logistics directors, nurses and other health professionals, and researchers. And then there's also these videos, and there's specific snippets in the videos that you can share in the introduction to really give students an idea of what do we mean when we say researchers, or what is a data analyst? Like, what is that about? So I'm going to try to play this and move it ahead to where I would like it. So let me know if there is any issue with sound or anything else, please. Let's see if I can do this.
Together we can have genius ideas. Every day when somebody's like, I need a device that does this, I start with a blank sheet. I can say, oh, you need an implantable device, takes up room inside your stomach and breaks down after a certain period of time. And that's all you've told me. And like, this is how the surgeon would implement it in the body. And I can literally go and draw and build something that's my unique contribution. And I keep working on it by talking to a lot of other people about what's good and what's not good about that design. And it's a very creative process. Everything starts from nothing. So I think the biggest.
All right, so it's a part of a longer video that's around 2 minutes and 30 seconds that is one of the stations that students can go to. And so this video is
misconception that I see people.
It's going to take me a second to get rid of it. All right, I'm going to hide this, hopefully.
People having all the time.
All right, so that was an example of from our biomedical engineer. And so again, there's a video for each of those careers. So there's one for data analyst. There's one for our health journalist. Oops, health journalist. Also for our medical logistics director, nurse and health professional, and then also for our researcher. So those short videos. All right, and then the next thing that students do is they take a this one is paper-based for now, but they take a short career quiz. It's about 8 pages long, and they read a statement, make a choice between 2 different options. And then it takes them to their next option and their next option. So based on their choice, they work their way through the careers quiz. And when they get to the end on page 8, they tally their answers. And so and there's also a code for how they answered. So if most of their answers are B, then we would recommend, then the recommendation is they should explore the biomedical engineer station first during the next section. If they have a whole bunch of R's and the most R's, then we recommend they go first to the researcher station. D's, health data analyst, J's, health journalist, L's are the medical logistics director. And if they have the most number of sort of N's, then we recommend that they start with the nurse or healthcare professional station as well. And so what we're going to do is going to do another quick poll. We're not going to do the whole careers quiz right now, but I encourage you to try it out. And so I'm going to ask a quick poll question and then hopefully share the results with you. So let me bring that up. All right, I'll stop sharing that. All right, so we'll go to sample. This is one of the career questions. So if the question is, which problem would you most like to work on? How to design prosthetic limbs, how to keep farm animals healthy, how to keep vaccines cold during transport, how to make medicines cheaper, how to share health news in local communities, or how to stop people getting sicker at the hospital. I'll give you a second. And this is just one of the questions out of the 8 pages of questions. Okay, looks like we have right around the same percentage as last time. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and I'll share the results. So it looks like from the folks who answered, it looks like keeping vaccines cold during transport was not a popular choice. But it looks like our top choices here were how to keep farm animals healthy, how to design prosthetic limbs, and then of the runs at the bottom, how to make medicines cheaper, how to share health news in local communities, and how to help people from getting sicker. Each had 2 respondents each. So what we would do here is, again, I'll share this with our folks who are joining later. So that is, again, one of the questions on the career quiz. And if you were to go to the next part of this in the activity, if you answered how to design prosthetic limbs in our poll that we just did, then I would recommend you go to the biomedical engineer station. How to keep farm animals healthy. In this case, I'd recommend going to the researcher station. Vaccines cold, which we did not have anybody choose this first time. That would be medical logistics coordinator. Making medicines cheaper, health data analyst. How to share health news, health journalist, and how to stop people from getting sicker at the hospital, a nurse or a health professional. So again, the actual quiz is many more questions, but I don't know. I feel like those are always fun to do those, I don't know, in old school in magazines. Then students use that information from the short videos, they use the information from the brief overviews and from that quiz to circle the 2 careers or choose the 2 careers they want to explore first during the exploration or explore during the exploration. So they pick those 2 that they're most interested in exploring during the exploration, and they're going to use that to do a career scavenger hunt. So the way that works is there are, you can decide if you want students to work independently, or if you want students to work in groups. If they do work independently, it's just important that everybody have a device, electronic device, so that they can get on the internet, probably headphones as well. You can also design it so there's 6 career stations, there's printable signs. And at the career stations, youth explore the resources. So they read a day in the life story. They explore internet resources, they explore videos and articles, and sometimes an interactive website. And then they record what they found interesting. And so it describes in the activity guide the recommendations for how to set that up, how to preload the tabs, preload the links, or different ways that you can pull up the links and have them all ready for students just to click and go. This has a lot of things on it that I added. But this is just an example of a day in the life story. So it's the day in the life of a biomedical engineer. And so there's a paper-based version. There's also a digital version. But students, it's really like choose your own adventure. So what youth do is they're working their way through it. They can work through it by themselves. They can work through it with a partner, or they can work through it with a whole group and kind of act it out. But they get a situation and they have to choose if they would do A or B. And then that will lead them to the next choice. So if it says you recently developed an antiviral to treat people with a virus, now your team tells you about a new disease caused by bacteria. You have limited resources, so you can develop either A, a medicine to prevent or treat the disease, B, a technology to identify the disease or limit its spread. And then they just work their way through that, choosing their next choice. Again, there's also a digital version of that as well. So if students are working independently, they can do that version. Then what students are doing after they read the day in the life for their particular career that the station they're at, they then work their way through some exploration, either as a group or again independently. And in this case, it lists three different options. They could watch the longer version of the video we just watched, or they could read about the PhD Raven Reddy, and talking about his experience in that field. And then there's also an article from Science Buddies. And so that continues for all of the different careers. There's just different options in terms of videos and in terms of interactive pieces as well. So it's really can be something the students are directing themselves. And then again, if they wanted to do if you wanted them to do it independently, you could also have everybody have their own device and work their way through a digital version of the career scavenger hunt. And that they can also click on the different choices, like, do you want to learn how a data analyst makes stories with data? Do you want to learn more about do you want to learn more about health data analysis? That sort of piece. So we have that for each one, and then they just record their notes digitally. All right, an optional activity is a career poster, so they can work with work with a group of students to make a poster at the end. This is an optional activity that hits on certain things. There's prompts here. They can use the model posters that are already in the folder. They can use these prompts, and that's something that can be an extension if you have more time. Afterwards, after students have completed their career scavenger hunt, they do a gallery walk where they share what they found about their career, their two careers, what they found interesting. They can see what their classmates or their peers found as well during that. And then they really set a next step. So they answer the question, what can you do to learn about more careers? They have that conversation, and then they choose a next step that they're going to commit to. And then this is a time when we really encourage educators to give out the family letter. So there's a family letter. We really encourage you to give the family letter to students and have them share both the family letter and the completed career scavenger hunt, because we know that, research also shows that families have a tremendous impact on the careers that that youth are interested in pursuing. That's an area of tremendous influence. So we want to make sure that, we're keeping families in the loop, and they know their child best, and we're really just sharing that information with them. All right. So that was a lot, but I'd like to kind of open up. I'll go back to the chat. You can drop questions into the chat. Also, if you prefer to share verbally, I think you should be able to do the raise your hand feature, and I should be able to unmute you as well. And I see Marianne was responding here. Yes, someone was asking if they could get a copy of this. The recording will be posted, within a week. There's a question here. Are these activities applicable for high school students as well? That is a great question. They're designed right now for that upper elementary and middle school zone. I'm sure they could be, that's just because that's where our curricula is. But I'm sure they could be used with like lower high school students, like 9th graders or 10th graders, if you wanted to do it more as a standalone. But that's something I don't have I don't have any off the top of my head, but we can ask the curricula team if they have any recommendations for high school students. We also have a group at the museum that really works with high school students all the time. And maybe that's something that we can potentially post or put out in one of our newsletters, which I can share. Are there supports for multilingual learners? Yes. In terms of the resources, or there soon will be. So in terms of the actual resources, they're designed in a way that sort of the best practice. We just want to make sure we have the best practices in terms of, images and sentence frames, sentence stems, sharing vocabulary, all of those things. So those things are really built into any of the materials themselves. There's also, right now, the printables are available the student materials are available in English only, but they will be, I was told they'll be in the next round of translations for Spanish. So all of our engineering curricula and eventually, and also all of our career explorations will at least have a Spanish version as well. And I saw Max earlier put, sometimes it's hard to get buy-in from professionals to dedicate time to share about their careers. Yeah, there's some recommendations again for like inviting people in. We know that can be really, really hard. If you are working in an enrichment space, there may be a little bit more flexibility just because of the time of day, or again, could be summer, could be school vacations, because we know, yeah, it's really hard to obviously get people in during the school day as well. Are there any other questions that are coming up about the general resources for career explorations, the health career ones, timelines? Well, I'll move on to the next pieces. And again, you can definitely keep putting things into the chat. I apologize for any technical issues earlier with the video. Sounds like we might have had some. I'll have to work that out. So I apologize for that. But you can definitely check all of those out by downloading the materials. You'll have access to all of the videos for all of the career explorations as well. All right. So we're going to go to kind of wrapping up. In terms of things that are coming up, we have an in-person workshop. So if you are kind of local New England, we have an in-person workshop at the Museum of Science on November 18th. So next Tuesday, that's engineering magnetic dog doors. That's meant to be a third grade unit or an upper elementary unit. It's great. But that's in person, and you can register online. We have our QR code, and then also you'll find the professional learning signups at our website. And then December 4th, we have our next free webinar that is going to be with my colleague Kendall, and she's going to be talking about exploring machine learning with YES. She'll be talking about using Google Teachable Machine for photo classification. That goes with our plastic filters lab. She'll also be talking about MATLAB live scripts and how they are paired with our eco-friendly slippers unit, which is a middle school unit. So again, there's one in-person, there's one in-person opportunity, and then there's the next free webinar. You can also sign up on our website in the About Us section. You can sign up for news and updates, and you can set your preferences to get the newsletter monthly. You can learn about our professional learning opportunities, pilot testing opportunities, which are great when they come along. We always are looking for folks to be testing out our curricula and giving us feedback. There's also a blog, and you can get notifications about that. The blog was updated today. Deepa Shah, who's our Senior Director of Curriculum, put a blog post up today about the career exploration. And you can definitely, I encourage you to check that out. Gives more of the context behind how things were designed, etc. You can also, we're on the socials, mostly LinkedIn, but also have Facebook and Instagram. I'd say the most common ones. All of the handles are yes at MOS as well. And the last thing I wanted to, contact us. So in terms of our customer success or customer support team is amazing. It's a team of 3 that does incredible work. If you have any questions about, yes, career explorations or anything else, please email them and they will answer the question themselves or pass it on to the curriculum team or the professional learning team. We all work together. And then lastly, before I check the chat again, if you are a person who works in the enrichment space, so you, again, work in those after school programs, before school programs, STEM clubs, vacation camps, summer camps, or you know someone who does, we are working on creating additional supports for educators in those spaces. And we are really looking for feedback. So we have a bunch of different options of things that we're thinking about trying out. And so there's a survey that we're asking folks to take that takes about 10 minutes total. So if you or anyone you know is willing and able to kind of fill that out in the next couple days, we would love to have your feedback. It's really, really important. It helps us decide sort of what to prioritize and where to go to make sure that we're sharing resources that are really helpful, especially for the enrichment space. And it also has the opportunity for you to indicate if you're interested in piloting anything in the enrichment space in terms of the curricula, which is always fun. All right, so let's check here. Okay, are we getting a certificate for completion? I would say, great question, Samantha. We didn't do a sign-in, so you won't automatically get one, but what you can do is, let me just scroll back. So I would say, Josh, you should definitely, you said you were very interested in the pilot test. Please sign up you can certainly do the pilot test, indicate that on the survey here, but then also go into our website and go to the About Us section, and you can sign up there for that you're interested in pilot opportunities and testing resources. And then I would say for Samantha or anyone else who's interested in a certificate, you won't automatically get one because we'll need your information. But if you do want a certificate for PD points or anything like that, just email. You can email our customer success team and just say, you could say that you attended, and we'd be happy to get that to you. You can say you attended the webinar, and Carrie said that we could get you email you a certificate. So we'll just need a little bit of information. Oh, got it. Send a link for, yes, I should have done that. I can place the link in the chat, I'm pretty sure. Um, yes. Let me do that. Let me stop sharing. All right, so we'll do that. So I will put that link in the chat in just a moment. If there's anyone who doesn't, oh wait, it's right here. Sorry, let me do that. Oop, it is right here. All right. Any other questions? And if you have any trouble accessing the link for the feedback survey, again, you can definitely just please contact our customer service team. Let them know that you wanted to fill out the enrichment resources survey. And again, you were on this tonight, and we can get that to you for sure. So please let us know these. All right. Well, thank you so much. We're very excited to release the Career Explorations resources. There's 2 out right now. There'll be 3 soon, and we're hoping to continue to add to that those resources, so we can really make a good rate pairing between STEM engineering, the engineering, and those career explorations. So thank you for being here tonight. Please tell other folks. Again, all the resources for the career explorations are free, and you can find them at our website. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end us, but please, again, if you have any questions, please email us at emails at yes@mos.org. Share your question, share that you were here at the webinar, and we will find the answer for you. And we hope to hear from you, and we hope that you're able to try out the career explorations really soon. Thank you.